Hello everybody, welcome back to the Battle Lounge in ClickyWalls.com. In this video, what I'm going to do is just go through all the different things that you get with the Tavern. Just go through all the little bits, just a little bit explanation, how they work, what they're for. First one I'll start with is all these connection blocks. There are 4 different variations. You've got your cross section, you've got a T section, a straight connector, and then the elbow. They're 60mm ones, which are just like the regular ones, but we've also got the 30mm ones. And these are exactly the same, but they're just half the size. This is in the Tudor one, which is just a balustrade. It's the right height for that. So if you only want to put a small one in, you can. You can still use the bigger ones on it, obviously. Or we've got, these are coming out in the next one as well, the Tudor, which are the picket fence style ones, and then that way you can have all your fencing for your garden requirements. So that's the connectors. Then the next thing we'll look at is the floor pieces. 3 of the floor pieces. Your standard square piece, you've got your half, and then you've got your stairwell one, or your stairway one. Obviously if this is downstairs, then you put this upstairs, and then it just gives you that little bit of space there, so you can still carry your characters on up into the next level. This little one is for like the little overhangs and things for the half wall, or the short wall we call it, which is that one. So this will fit in there perfectly. So when you're building your little bits that come out, they fit into there like that. This staircase is designed in such a way that it works really well with your miniatures, because it's big enough to put a miniature on each step. It's just the brick version. In the Tudor one, we've got this, which is all wooden planks, so it's a little bit different, but essentially exactly the same. Just adds a little bit of flavour to it, having that wooden one. If we get straight into the walls now, so this is your bulk standard basic brick wall, which you could use for most of your builds, probably. Could be used for all sorts of things, dungeons, houses, etc. This cross one, for me, I don't really bother with the other ones too much. I have some of them printed out, but with most of the builds, it's just easier. Just every time you print a wall, print one of these out, and then you're always going to have enough of these to build whatever you want. So that's the standard brick wall. And then we've got the standard brick wall with a window. It's a double window. They're articulated. They're printed in place, so you don't have to fit these in or anything like that. They're printed as they are. So that's your standard double window wall. There's another double window, and this one has what we call a planter. So it could be, you could put some flowers in there or something. If you're painting your builds up, this would look really good with some foliage or something in. Or you can use it as a water trough. So this nearly didn't go into the Tavern build, but I put it in at the last minute because I thought, actually, because you can use it as a watering trough, it's really good if your characters have got horses and they're going to be, you know, tying them up outside, and they've got like a water trough there for drinking out of. And when you paint this up, what you could do is you could fill this with some clear resin. That would look pretty cool. Or as I say, just get some foliage and little bushes, little flowers or something like that, and stick them in there. That'll look really good. And then we've got a window with a door. Again, these are print in place, and they are a staple for any build. Your average building is just going to be having a door like this on there. Works really well for most ordinary sort of houses sort of situation. A little bit more of an entrance, we've got the porch. So it's exactly the same as the other door, with the opening window and the door, but obviously it's got a little brick porch attached to it. Now it is open on the top, which means if you're putting an upstairs on, you're going to need one of these to go on. In a later bundle, I might look at doing this little rooftop as a separate that will go on. If you want to use this with a single story by putting your roof on, you know, like this at the moment, it gets in the way because of the way the roof is. So you might have to have it that way, but then I've got to print something that will kind of fit into that gap nicely without having too many pieces. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that yet, especially on this one, because it really doesn't leave you much room So this one at the moment, as it stands, is the ground floor level, and then the first floor level would have that. So it goes in and then it just sits on there nicely and gives you that nice arch look. And just so you know, these don't fit in really tightly. They should be loose. If you ever print them off and they're a little bit tight, it's usually because there's a little bit of overspill on the print bed, and you just need to clean it up with a little file or knife or something like that. It's very rarely the top one that causes the problem, because obviously that's the last bit to be printed. And the reason you want these a little bit loose is so that when you're playing and you build multiple levels, you could just easily lift the level off and it's not like you're not struggling with it. And then another nice piece, one of my favourite pieces, this is the bay window. This is in brick again with small windows around the front. It's a really nice piece to use in the building because it gives so much character to it. It can be used on the ground floor level, or it can be used on any other level. Now, just so you know, we do have a Tudor version of this, which the Tudor version, there's one which is just the beams with the braces in there, and this one works really well for going underneath. So if you was to bring the wall out, you could put it like that, or if you was having this upstairs, it then fits nicely there. You could then have another one there like that, so it all sort of joins up. Also, the windows open on the Tudor style ones, and the windows are bigger as well on the Tudor ones. These are little, these sort of like twice the size, just to make it a little bit different architecturally. The bay window, as I said, I really like that print. It's a really nice one. So when you're building, really makes a lot of difference to the actual build. There's another bit that actually prints and comes with it, and that is the little roof section. It's just a little flat roof section. So if you imagine you've got your upstairs like that, see, that's a little bit tight because there's a little bit rough on this one, so it just needs a little bit of clean up sometimes because they're printed on the bed like that. So that first little layer that goes down sometimes just needs a little bit of clean up. So if you imagine that wall fits in like that, and then this bit you can take it out if you want to, if you have a little peek in there, or it just prints separate because of printing constraints. You could glue that in if you wanted to. You could just pop a bit of super glue if you don't think that you're ever going to be taking it out. You don't want the hassle. You could easily glue it in. Then we've got the little wall, which is this one. This works really well with the overhangs. So this roof, for example, this roof comes with it. This is a joint bit, so it's for a single size that comes out, but then comes out half the way. So that sort of fits in there nicely if if you're building that overhang. And then by the time you've got your connector in there and your wall at the front, so that's that little wall. And the Tudor one has got some nice little ones. In fact, my second favourite is one of the Tudor small ones, which is like a little door. I've got to show you this one because I love it. It's such a cool little piece. This bit was not going to go in the Tudor set, but I couldn't help myself. I just put it in there. I wanted it in like the castle section because I think it'd work really well as a little tiny door, almost in a little tiny alleyway. You can imagine your characters going down this little dark alleyway in a citadel or something like that and coming up against this barred door. But yeah, it works. The doors in the Tudor door set are slightly different. They click in and they stop when they're closed, whereas the doors in the first set, there's nothing stopping them, so they open both ways, and that's intentional. It's the same as the windows as well, they open both ways. I wanted as much difference between these different pieces as possible. So if you're in a situation with a door that opens both ways, you know you've got one. Because although I prefer the one-way door where it just opens one way and then it sort of snaps shut for most situations, but there may be situations where you want them where they will open one way or the other. And the benefit of that, for something like this, it opens that way or that way. Doesn't matter which way round you want it, so you can have it that way and have your window this side if that's what you choose, or you can flip it around and have it that way round, which you can't do so well with the Tudor ones because they click in. That's just a design choice that I did on that. So this is the standard roof that comes with the Tavern. The tiles are the same size as the little tiles on the other roofs, and it's got the brick front in. It's got a little bit of beam work on it, but not much. It's mainly brick on the front there, and obviously it's got the hole for the chimney, So the chimney's there, that's just a standard single chimney. In the Tudor set there's a double chimney, and in the future I might bring out different things that fit into that hole as well. Okay, so that's the main standard sort of roof. And then we've got the side roof. So this will click on, as I said, as an overhang, and we got the little holes there for changing the height. And the height changes depending on what you've got there, whether you've got a wall, which would leave a gap so then you have it higher, or if you've got one of the other roof types, then you'd want it on the lower one so that it fits in nicely with the other roofs. And then you've got the middle roof section. Oh, there's another bit that's missing. I don't know what I've done with it, but essentially it's this bit. This is actually with the Tudor set, so it's the brick front facing, which matches these ones, but it's got the chimney portion attached to it. And then that just clicks in, and then that becomes your end bit. So it just clicks on that bit there, like that. But it doesn't have the chimney on it. This comes with the Tudor bit, which is like an extra. And also on the Tudor, you get the beams rather than the bricks. And it doubles up, so it works as if you've got two of this size roof, this will fit in between. Or if you've got one of these roofs, then you turn it round that way, and then that's when you have your end on like that, just to make it the right size. So it's got multi-purpose, this one. So we've got these little brackets, little supports we call them, and they are primarily to go under anything that's sticking out a little bit. These little walls, so if they're coming out, you've got that kind of support going on under those, but also you've got the support going under the balconies. Balcony is another really cool piece, because not only does it look good when you click it onto the house, you know, stopping it being so boxy, it adds character to it, but also it works really well for when you're playing with miniatures, because you know you can have these on all different levels and you can put your miniatures on, getting that height advantage and things like that. So I love this base, it's great, works really well. Or you could just have it on the ground level, have it almost as like a little garden sort of thing. It's the same height as the picket fence, so you could use the shorter connectors if you wanted to, but it is different. It's a different style to these. These are much smaller, but I'm thinking about extending this as well, making them more like this with the big sort of posts on the end. That could be a nice little freebie that I might give out. And then we just got the braces. So the braces come with the Tavern. It's a standard sort of connection piece. You don't have to use them if you're doing the sort of setup where it's all open, it's just one ground level, you're not bothering with floors or anything, you're just creating some alleyways and passages and things that typically don't need these. But these really come into their own if you're building something bigger and you want it more sort of structurally secure, and you know you've got something sort of massive, then you're definitely going to need something like this to help hold everything together in the middle of the build. But when you do start getting to those bigger size buildings, if you want to do them, which is great fun by the way, building them. If you do, then I recommend using the piece, the internal wall, which is coming with the Tudor, which is this. So essentially it's that and that joined together with the rebates on each side, which is a lot more structurally secure. So if you're building a big building, then you definitely want to use these ones rather than the little ones. The little ones are great if you're just making a little house, you just want to tie everything together, you just put this in. If you imagine your floors are going in between the walls, this fits in here, this would fit in here. Because you've braced it like that, you don't have a gap. But if you don't put that in, when you put your floors in, you do have a little bit of a gap there. Not the end of the world, but this will actually stop pieces like sliding around as well, because it holds everything in place. And it's exactly the same situation with this. So when you put that wall in, these drop in on top of it like that, and they're sort of held in place a bit better with these. But these are good because what you might want to do is you might want to just have the floor piece and not worry about having the top piece. So it makes it easier to use the smaller buildings when you're working in them. Whereas if you've got that, you're definitely going to have that beam right in the way. And if it's quite a small building, you've got some big monster in there or something, you might want to do away with those top bits, which means these bottom bits, then they come into their own. And there we go. So That's all the pieces that you get with the Tavern build. It's more than enough to build loads of different style houses, and you know, all different shapes and sizes, different levels. You can build towers out of this, you can build all sorts of stuff. Use your imagination, go wild. And whatever you do, guys, if you build something that you're really proud of and you like, please share it with us, because it's great to, you know, to see what you guys are doing. So either like on our Facebook page or whatever, or you can just send it to me, just email it to me and say, look what I've done, and I'll put it on the website for other people, give them inspiration. I really want to build a community with this ClickyWalls system. I think it's fantastic. I love it. I'm really proud of what I've done. I'm enjoying myself as well. I'm so excited about it. I've got so much more that I want to do with it. There's not enough hours in the day. So expect more to come. I will be spending the rest of the evening working on the latest one that we've got, which is the marketplace, which is the town centre bundle. Looking forward to doing that. But I'm also working on the website as well. This isn't a massive company, guys. This is just me, my brother, my other business partner. We're working together to do this. I'm the creator of the actual system. I do all the design work for it. My brother, he does all the website marketing, advertising, all that side of it. And then our business partner, Matt, he's doing more of the behind the scenes stuff as well. So sorting the painting out and organising more community side of stuff. So getting this into games shops where they're playing Warhammer and things like that. So he's doing a lot of that side of it. I'm really looking forward to start painting it, which is what we'll be able to see soon on the website, is some more finished pieces. You could paint all this. The clicking system is designed in such a way that when it's painted, so if you imagine this is all painted up lovely and then you got the paint on there, it's not really going to matter too much with the clicking, but this bit does. So if this was painted brown and then you're clicking it in to here and then you're unclicking it, the paint's going to scratch off of that bit, and then if you turn it round and then you click it in there, it's going to look a bit rough because of that. So what I'm thinking at the moment, you could print these in the colour that you're most likely going to use. So let's just say that this Tudor building, you're going to have like sandstone brick. This is how I'm seeing it, sandstone brick, but with then dark brown beams. I mean, this is the brick one, but if you look at the Tudor one, it's a bit more obvious. These are all going to be brown beams, and then these rebates will be painted brown as well, and then this will be printed the same brown colour so that it all sort of matches in and just looks like part of the wooden framework. Sometimes they're a bit tight when they're freshly printed, but once you've clicked them in and out a couple of times, they ease off a little bit. But it is a real nice snug click to that. It's satisfying. Okay. Oh. So you could print a load of these off in a different colour if you wanted to. Would make sense. Find the colour filament that you want and then you just match your paint to it. That was an idea that I had. Or with this system, guys, you don't have to take everything apart and keep using it. If you want to, you can click it all together. You could glue all the pieces and have set pieces. The problem with that is storing it. So this is what I said in one of my other videos, is that it's really difficult when you're building these great big buildings that look great, they're really impressive on the table, but they're so big and difficult to store. One I did, which was, it's like a Colosseum fighting pit style thing, and it's like huge, it's like this big. So I did it in 2 pieces, but even those pieces are massive and very difficult storing it. And then when you do store it, then you're reluctant to get it out because it's so big and bulky. For a fighting pit, it's not actually big enough. It's too small. You don't put anything in there. You can get a couple of little mateys in there. But with this system, if you wanted to build a fighting pit, you could have it huge. I haven't got any diagonals yet, but it is in the pipeline. Possibly with a castle build, or I might, for the fighting pit, just bring out literally something like that. Maybe do a Colosseum one, which has got the angled walls which will probably be a take on this. So rather than having these at a 90, I could do a little bit like what we do with the fences. Again, this is with the Tudor set, these fences where you get these little clips. But rather than just the 90-degree bends and the straight bends, there's a 45. So when you're putting these fences out, they can be a little bit more wibbly-wobbly, a little bit more interesting, which makes them really good for breaking up the scenery. So when you've got a lot of square houses and you've got some little fences, it just breaks it up a little bit. But if I was to do this sort of system with the wall, so that you could click it in like that, I would need to do the math and make sure that everything works, so that if you've then got something there, you could bring it back round and it all works square. I don't know if it's actually possible because of the size of the connectors. It might make it so rather than doing different connectors, I will probably have to do different walls. So rather than the wall having a rebate on the end, it's the rebate which is the bit that's different, because the length of the wall is probably going to be different. That's what I'm thinking at the moment, but I need to play around with it before I can figure that out. So guys, please like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps the algorithms if you give it a like, and obviously if you subscribe, even better, because the more subscribers I get, the more likely that YouTube is going to share these videos with people, and the more people that see it, the more people are going to find out about the Clicky wall system. So like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.